Hi! Today we're in beautiful London to discuss how the former IT giant, king of the cell phone market, disappeared and how we can get it back again. Join us now for Brand Talk. So, what do you think when I say Nokia?
Handy?
Do you have it?
Cell phone?
Famous ago, and it was indestructible.
Unbreakable.
Luxury?
I remember Nokia as my first phone, and I used to play Snake.
Yeah, the snake game, that's it.
Snake game? Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's old and finished.
I would say old generation.
Have you ever owned a Nokia phone?
Yeah, 3310. That one is cool.
I had a Nokia like more than 10 years ago. Yeah, when I was very young, not this time. I had the brick one.
You've never owned a Nokia?
But now I haven't heard of Nokia like for a long time.
Hi, and welcome back to Brand Talk. I'm now in the conference room where I'll be joined by a brilliant young team of experts where we'll go a bit more into detail regarding the past, the present, the brand identity, the values, the market, and also the product of Nokia and what they're doing right now. So, please let me introduce you to our lovely team experts. Miguel.
Hi.
He's joined by Alex.
Evening, Alex.
Evening, Alex. And this is Romina, product expert. And she's joined by Fatima, the second part of the product team. First and foremost, one way to look at a brand is to view the brand identity, or what the brand is, feels, represents, and what their values, beliefs are, and how the customer views the brand. From our research and interviews that you saw earlier, we see that people remember Nokia in a nostalgic way. They remember the product quality. They remember their first phone, the 3310. They remember playing Snake and the fun stuff. Unfortunately, the consumers also view Nokia as an old brand that's out of touch with its consumers and no longer the strongest horse in the race. Nokia, on the other hand, still try to be innovative. They believe that they can change and drive the future by being neat, clever, and easygoing. Additionally, Nokia has a large connection with its market from its history, its recognizable brand name and logo. Looking at Nokia's values specifically, we can see that they are trying to re-establish themselves in the market. The values are there to guide them and drive them forward both internally and externally. More specifically, Nokia's 4 values are respect, achievement, renewal, and challenge. Furthermore, we have the possibility to look at Nokia as a person. From this, we could use the brand identity prism from Cutthroat. So, if you look at Nokia's personality, this would be a strong firm, an independent firm that's not afraid to do something new. Culturally, since Nokia is a Scandinavian brand, they have Scandinavian values: equality, respect, opportunity, and a flat business structure. Their self-image is quite similar to their personality. They view themselves as a strong brand, an innovator, someone who's been in the market and they know what they're doing. This is also something they wish to reflect upon their customers. People that use Nokia phones are independent, don't really necessarily care so much about brand name, but they want a quality product. And this is also the relationship they could have with the brand. It's nostalgic and they remember growing up with a Nokia phone. The physique logo has a blue color, it's clean, it's neat, and it instills confidence in its consumers. Moving forward, we'll now discuss the product line with Fatima and Luna.
So firstly, let's look at where Nokia went wrong. A key reason why Nokia failed was because they were so focused on the actual mobile handset, whereas competitors such as Apple entered the market and introduced the software element. This is where Nokia failed to keep up. Having realized their mistake, they teamed up with the world's largest software makers, Microsoft, which led to the launch of the Lumia model. Microsoft acknowledged that Nokia's brand name has been ruined detrimentally, and by marketing it as a Nokia phone, it will still be associated with the negative perceptions consumers in this day and age have regarding the brand, and they will be putting themselves out there to fail. As a result, it was rebranded as Microsoft Lumia for 1 year, possibly with the hope of refining Nokia's brand image and reputation. In that time period, Nokia will focus on the 215 model and the N1 tablet. Nokia recently launched the most affordable internet-ready entry-level phone yet, making it suitable for first-time buyers or for someone looking for a secondary phone. They are bringing back the idea of being someone's first phone so that they too can create emotional bonds with the brand, and Nokia can achieve top-of-mind awareness when purchasing a first mobile phone. As well as the 215 model, Nokia also launched the N1 tablet in the Chinese market, as in the fourth quarter of 2014, 12% of Nokia's revenue came from China.
Carrying on what from my colleague Rumina said, I'll be also talking about the product aspect, but I'll be using two conceptual frameworks. The first one is the product portfolio that was created in order to represent Nokia's product line. As you can see, the product portfolio, the core of the model is the Bastion, which is the brand, and the brand is Nokia/Microsoft. The surrounding of it is the categories of Nokia's product lines. The first one is the prestige product, which is Microsoft Lumia. It's one of the expensive phones, as well as it has advanced software that is made for the current market. The second is the Fighter, which is Nokia's price competitive model, which is the Nokia 215. The reason because it's still a basic phone compared to the Lumia. The flankers are the tablet N1, the Nokia here, which is a mapping system, and the Nokia networks, which is an internet connection. Second conceptual framework is the BCG model. The start of the BCG model is the Nokia 215 and the tablet N1. This is because if they were to emerge new markets or Asian markets, they would be able to succeed in those markets. This is due to the fact that Nokia already have a good sales figures in Asian markets, as 20% of its sales actually come from Asia Pacific. And also in terms of their features as well, the Nokia 215 provides 2G network, which is great for rural parts of Asian countries as it doesn't provide 4G or 3G network. The N1 has been compared to the iPad Mini 3, but currently, due to the fact that iPad Mini 3 is not coming out, the N1 has a good opportunity to succeed in the market. Moving on is the question mark. The question mark is Nokia here. The reason why it's Nokia here is that it does have a good market growth, but due to competition with Google Maps, it doesn't have a good market share. The cash cow is Nokia Networks. The reason being is that they have a good market share due to the fact that 75% of Nokia's profit actually come from Nokia Networks. So they do have a good market share, but they don't have a good market growth due to the fact that Nokia Networks isn't recognized by many people. The dog is the Lumia series. The reason why is that even though Nokia tried to enhance their brand by using Microsoft, they failed as the Lumia series didn't do well in the market due to the fact of other phones that there are in the market. And that's it for me. And now I'll be passing it on to my colleague Miguel.
Thank you, Fatima. Now I'll be going through, I'll go through the markets. Nokia's plan appears to be to introduce the concept of a smartphone to markets and people that have never had one before. By launching their Nokia 215, they'll be penetrating markets with an increasing population. However, these populations are not very technologically driven. This can be explained by the fact that these countries come from a past of very little development growth. However, this phenomenon has changed, and these countries and emerging markets are now seeing their populations and especially the economies increasing at a very regular pace. By targeting these markets, it means that Nokia will be targeting hundreds of millions more people. What Nokia needs to do, however, in order to decrease the risk when penetrating the markets and the new countries, is to come up with products that will be well accepted by the demands of the population as well integrated with these populations. One of the examples I will be talking about is China. China has been a very, very powerful economy ever since they opened their borders to foreign investment to use their workforce for cheap manufacturing production of different products. This phenomenon led China into having nowadays one of the biggest and strongest economies in the world. China is now the second world's biggest consumer. As you can see in the graph, Figures show that while other countries have been struggling in the post-financial crisis of 2008, China's consumer spending has been increasing at a very regular pace, which makes China not only a huge market, but a huge economy. The average household in China saves as much as 40% of their income. Now, linking this factor with the fact that their population has been increasing enormously, more precisely China is around 1/5 of the world's population, it can explain the fact that their consumer spending is just increasing at a very, very fast pace, because both their population and economy are growing very similarly. The other country that our team is going to be going through is India, and I will let you with Alex now.
Thank you, Miguel. So now I'm going to just share the small findings about the Indian market. Actually, it's the third largest market in the world for the smartphones after China and the United States. Only 10% of the Indian population, though, owns a smartphone, but if we relate this to the 1.278 billion population, that gives us a total of 128 million smartphone users. To give you a better overview, that's the population of UK and France combined. However, 3G hasn't taken off in India, reason behind it being the high cost of the network providers. People just can't afford to have internet on their phones, as well as the big number of rural areas. In other words, the infrastructure is there, but it's not that popular yet. Moving forward, if you look at the graphs, you can see that the value of the market is expected to continuously grow till 2016, reaching a total of $11.5 billion. To give you and your viewers a better overview, this is more than 55% increase since 2011. Also, the volume of mobile phones is expected to reach a total of 242 million units by 2016, which is a huge boom. It's more than 71% compared with 2011. If we look at the industry in general, we can see that the power is equally divided between the buyers, suppliers, new entrants, allowing a high degree of rivalry. Speaking of which, the rivalry is fueled by factors such as the competitor size. The Indian market is dominated by a small number of large suppliers, such as Nokia and Samsung. Nokia was actually the market leader. In 2009, its market share was 55.4, and now in 2014, it's 16.7, allowing Samsung to take the leadership in 2012. When looking at the suppliers, we can see that the most important aspects for the Indians are the balance between quality and cost, showing that even though India is an emerging country, it is still cost-driven, opening a huge door for our proposed strategy.
And now we're going to have a small break that we hope brings back some memories. Now that we have a few more facts on the table, we'll start the debate part of the show. So, guys, any ideas?
Yeah, first of all, I think that Nokia's in the middle of a process. It's in between product development and market penetration. That could be called, for example, I think, market adaptation, because what they're trying to do is to develop a range of products as well as go into new horizons.
In India, for example, in 2011 there were 97 phone manufacturers entering the market.
Could you repeat that? 97?
Exactly, 97 in 1 year. But at the end of the year, 68 dropped. So the market is dominated by a small number of important players, such as Nokia. So if they're managing to adapt their product locally, make it cheap, as I mentioned before, their success is guaranteed here.
Yeah, definitely. Then they already have a presence in the Asian market. I think it's
27% of Nokia's revenue comes from the Pacific Asia.
I have here an article from the Independent saying that in India, phone is actually changing the people's lives. Like, because of the mobile phones, farmers know the price of what they should be getting for their crops instead of being cheated. So they can just live check what the prices are in that exact day.
And what I mentioned with market adaptation is they need to access internet for that. However, in emerging countries where there's a lot of rural areas, 3G and 4G access is still very limited. By introducing the Nokia 215, they need to adapt the fact that they need to supply those populations with the 2G technology in order to allow them to use the same access.
It does have awesome features as well. For example, when if you launch it into an Asian country, usually what happens in Asian countries, the electricity goes unexpectedly. So having that flashlight, that tool, it actually comes into great use. So it is handy when it comes to the Asian markets. Yeah.
And I read somewhere it had really good battery life as well.
Yeah, it has really good battery life as well. I think it's 20 hours.
20 days standby time.
20 days standby, that's very good. That's very
And
good.
it's also very affordable.
Yeah, I think my smartphone has 1 quick standby.
It's also very affordable, so it suits the market where the economy might not be as high.
That might actually
people
grow.
can buy it actually, that's the thing.
So a Nokia phone might actually be the first phone for someone once again, as it used to be before.
It can be actually, it can be, especially in Asian countries.
It costs $29.
$29 for,
which is cheap for a smartphone.
smart enough.
It is smart
It
enough
comes with internet.
To satisfy some needs, yeah.
It's already launched with apps like Facebook, so it's ready for people to use. And
you have the weather and
hopefully they integrate their mapping system as well into the phone. That's something they should do.
could work.
You will have to run on 2G though. They might have to look into to be something to explore in the future.
Depending on their age, I think it will come in handy. It's a handy tool to have. So the Lumia phone actually comes in various different colours, and I think they could implement that same strategy with the N1 tablet, as it only comes in 2 colours if I'm correct. And blue for the tablet would be a good colour because that's what Nokia's logo is, blue, and in advertising it represents trust, dependable and strength. And that's a good image to have for a brand. So by implementing different colours, it might attract a different audience, or it might make it look appealing to consumers. Younger audience who are interested in tablets these days. So younger children or kids who might not own a phone but still want to play games on their iPad or tablet, a different colour would appeal to a younger audience.
They differentiate themselves from competition.
They were actually accused of copying the iPad mini.
Okay, yeah, because the tablet N1 is very, very similar to Apple's iPad mini.
Apparently, if you're going to the Nokia website, you feel like you're in an Apple store.
They're trying to copy because maybe they know that they failed in the past, so they want to keep up with competition.
But isn't that Nokia's role in the market though? They are no longer the market leader, they are the followers.
Yeah, but I think what's going on here, because for example they're using Windows as well as my Android as well, they have no idea what they want to do actually. They obviously want to get their market position back, but obviously they have no idea how to get that back, so they're trying these new ventures. For example, they're using Android as well as Windows, so it's just confusing.
They're trying to do so many things in the same time, like they want to recover so fast. But instead of just taking baby steps, they just go everywhere. So that might be a bit confusing.
Their past history shows that they were pioneers in the smartphone industry. Now, if you follow your competition, yes, it might work, but it might take away that image of being an innovative pioneer. A good fact to keep in mind is one of the main competitors of Nokia is going to end the production of their mini tablet, which is a huge open door for Nokia.
N1 looks considerably similar to the iPad. The design of the model, it looks exactly comparable to the iPad. So it gives them a huge competitive advantage. And Nokia has always been associated with being someone's first phone for a very long time. And when we interview people, that's what came across from the research. And they're trying to keep on that emotional bond that they have with their consumers of being their first phone, and that memory of owning and that excitement of owning your first phone, because you will most likely always remember your first phone. So they're trying to follow that idea and still create that bond with their consumers.
Speaking of the first phone, what they really should do, especially regarding our research, is they should reintroduce Snake.
Bring back the nostalgia of all the years.
Play on the heartstrings of it.
That's what everyone talks about, the Snake. That is one
Snake
of the...
was a popular concept of the Nokia phone, and it was found to be very missed by consumers.
It's a cover up, just giving reason why Nokia failed, but I think giving up Snake was the real good.
So they need definitely to reintroduce the emotional bonds to these new populations.
And what that would do is when parents are thinking of buying their child a first phone, the first brand that might come into mind is likely to be Nokia.
People won't remember their second or third phone, but they would always remember the first phone. It's like a legacy that they keep, which is a really good thing.
You mentioned the word legacy, and from my point of view, that's about trying to leave a mark, and one way people have tried to do this before is co-branding. I don't know if you guys have any ideas of how maybe Nokia could co-brand in the future or in the new markets.
Well, I can give you an example for India. Bollywood has a huge power there, so if you want to advertise a product to the masses, then an association or whatever endorsement from Bollywood with a celebrity will just make a boom.
And it actually depends on what celebrity you use as well. If you use the major celebrities there's Salman Khan and all those the big ones, it actually makes a difference.
You need to keep in mind the culture and religion is a really powerful. Yeah, it's really strong. Not only in India, I believe in other emerging countries as well. But it's a good example to use, and Nokia should definitely explore the co-branding with their own culture, because it's an easy way to just enter that market.
Yeah, we've discussed a couple of markets earlier today, China, we mentioned Brazil and India. Is there any similarities in those markets that Nokia should be aware of?
And having in mind the Hofstede model that explores the different factors of a culture within a country. And these three countries I just mentioned are very similar when it comes to cultural behavior. The populations believe that there is a social hierarchy and that it's acceptable to have different levels in society, and that working hard is believed to be the way of climbing that ladder, and by rewarding themselves they are motivating themselves buying a new product such a Nokia tablet or depending on their income and what they need, a Nokia smartphone, the 215.
This is something that I would guess makes the consistency part easier, because Nokia hasn't been that consistent in what they're doing, at least from what we've discussed.
Yeah.
And when you have some cultural similarities, the marketing aspect could at least have some sort of thread.
Yes, some sort of
path
to follow.
One of the problems I have with the Batman branding, why would you put Batman and Nokia together? I think
there needs to be some sort of association.
Yeah, this makes sense.
It needs to be more of an obvious link or something that consumers understand straight away when seeing the advert or promotion.
You try to do the same thing, but instead of Batman,
using
the celebrity endorsement that you mentioned.
Yeah.
So it's again, market adaptation, adapting or using the same techniques, but a little bit different according to different cultures and different behaviors.
Cultures are different, and not the same message won't interpret the same way in different cultures. Therefore, you have to adapt your message and your commercials to fit that audience.
Very good point, Romina. Unfortunately, looking at my watch here and my producer in the corner, we're running a bit short on time. So, does anyone have any final ideas, conclusions, or recommendations for what Nokia could do in the future?
Well, I'd just like to sum up everything that we said. We believe that Nokia can be fashionable again. It has years of experience behind and all the technological skills, so all it has to do is reconnect to its customers.
A really powerful word that was used a couple of times here is legacy, and Nokia has one. They just haven't really caught up with the demands of the market.
They obviously want to go back to the position they were, but the thing is, it is important that they obviously take baby steps, as Alex has mentioned before. They need to understand what they're doing and the impact of it.
Known as a strong brand, so when we asked the public what they thought of the brand, a lot of people mentioned that it's unbreakable, so they have that reputation and they could easily possibly get that back. At one point they had consumers' trust, and if they do things well and they're marketing well, and they give consumers what they want and what they need, then it's possible that they can build that bond with the consumers again.
you so much for being able to join us today. And I will also, of course, thank you, our viewers. If you're back at the same time next week, we'll have another interesting case for you. Bye-bye. Thank you.